Now, I'm just going to ask you, doesn't this mean that mostly everybody that you know that thinks that they're smart are really just a bunch of idiots in one way or the other?
Get very committed to a particular model, to a particular idea, which is that contradicts established theories. And it's a strange phenomenon in science because we like to think of scientists as rational and reasonable people. But the fact is that when you get very committed to a particular model, to a particular idea, I think you start to connect your own personality to it. And any attack on that idea becomes an existential attack on you yourself.
How sad.
And it is sad because again and again what we see is the new facts being dismissed because they don't fit the existing theory, where in fact what we should be doing is modifying the existing theory to explain the newly discovered facts. And this is a problem in the whole history of science. But today things have changed, and what I
Interested in, like, why would they try to ignore something like
the first thing they've tried to do is to get rid of it. This is often the case where new information emerges that contradicts established theories. And it's a strange phenomenon in science because we like to think of scientists as rational and reasonable people. There's a problem in the whole history of science. But today, things have changed. And what I see is the archaeological mainstream in a state of denial about this information. They just don't want to recognize it and absorb it, but they're going to have to recognize it. It's going to be forced upon them, whether they like it or not.
It's so sad because you count on these people to distribute the information, but their egos get involved in things, and if you've been teaching something for a long time, then it turns out you gave out master's degrees on things that were completely incorrect.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's got to be
and
very
something
hard.
something else, although this sounds a bit conspiratorial, I think the existing view of history is part of a mind control system in our society. It's something that we're presented with, that we take in with our mother's milk, and we're never supposed to question. I think it's if you control the past, you do actually control the present and the future as well.
So, but
Now, I'm a big class clown. I like jokes. I like to have fun. I like to play games, video games. We could all go play a big game of hide and seek somewhere, you know? But check this out. I have a question for you. Do you think that time can be manipulated? So, my answer is that it can, and in many different ways. So, I had this conversation with somebody. I asked them if they think time could be manipulated. And then I asked them to try to do the math on daylight savings time. And I asked, because they're older than me, they're actually a doctor. And I asked them if daylight savings time, it was made up at some point, right? It wasn't always, they didn't always have a daylight savings time, right? So I've came up with the calculation in my head of years that have been taken and stolen from you. If you stop at a stoplight, stop sign, yield, all of them, all of the whatever it is, and then you add one of them up or add all of them up, every single time you did it, how many weeks or months or years do you think that you would be sitting in place if you had to sit in place for all of those minutes and seconds that you stopped at a stoplight? So this, what I'm about to explain, is almost like 3-card Monty. For whoever doesn't know what 3-card Monty is, that's the game with the 3 cups, and you got to try to figure out which cup has the bowl or the coin under it, or you got the 3 cards and they're flipping the cards and you got to pick which card it was, that whatever one it was that you saw or picked or whatever, right? 3-card Monty. So you implement this thing, a structure, to put time forward and then back. So it seems like you're giving time back after you take an hour and then you give it back. So every year you're putting time back and putting it back forward again. So you're getting an hour took from your day, right? Now, I said add up all of those hours and tell me how long it would be. And this is a doctor. He said, well, that would be about, it started in such and such, 19, blah, blah, blah. And if it's, I'm thinking about 32 years, I forgot. So he's like, it would be about 32 hours. Be about 32 hours, something like that. Or maybe 40 something. It's like maybe it amounted to like 2 days and some change. Maybe like 50 hours. Okay? Because the date may have been in the 50s or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember the exact dates and all of that stuff. We're going off the head here. So I hope I got you guys gripping onto your seats, snapping your seat belts. So he's like, yeah, about 50 years. And I'm like, 50? And I'm like, because I'm thinking, he's a doctor, older, you might, because I still don't have the correct calculation. For some reason, my calculations go towards 2012, and only because I feel like 2012 is the original. It's not, I feel like 2012 is the year that everybody was waiting for. Like 2000, everybody thought that 2000 was going to be the big year that all the technology changed and all that. I say that it was 2012. And I also been feeling like time has been manipulated. I feel like we all hopped into a freaking time machine or some kind of time manipulating vessel or something, and we just like, but 1999, it was like we stepped into 19, I mean, when it hit 1999, it seemed like we stepped into like 2017 in a year. That's what it seemed like. So 12 years, it's about accurate to me, but I'm not a mathematical genius. But anyway, back to what I was saying. He says 50 years. So I thought about it. I'm like, maybe, and then I'm like, no, because wouldn't that mean, think about this, you're not adding up an hour for each year. You're adding up each day and every hour and every week that you put the time back. You're not adding up the years of the hour. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're adding up all of those days of hours for all of those years on top of the years. You understand? It's like you gotta add up the hours, the days, and then the time of the years, how many days and weeks pass of the years that hour has been taken from you since it's been implemented. Okay? So if you take all of those minutes and hours, okay, and you add it up, right? Or let's, like, if you break it down and you take an hour and you're going through time with an hour taken from you, and then they put the hour back. It's like, okay, we're gonna put the hour back. You can't get the hours back that they took. You can't those hours are already gone. It doesn't matter if I give you if I give you $5 today, and then I take 2 tomorrow, and then a year goes by, and then I give you your $2 back, tell me where the fuck you're at. Does that make sense? That's time manipulation. And that's just one. There's many other ways that your time has been manipulated. Time is not even accurate. You got different calendars. Gregorian. You got the Chinese calendar, the Chinese New Year. How you got different New Years? I don't care if you're on one side of the world or whatever. Like, time manipulation.